It's November 13. I'm still at Valley of Fire State Park, and today I'm doing the old Arrowhead Trail. It has a lot of history. Las Vegas promoters claim to be the originator of this all-weather route between Los Angeles and Salt Lake City. From the beginning, the Arrowhead Trail was a grassroots effort, including promotion by various chambers of commerce and volunteer construction by local citizens. However, it was Charles H. Bigelow from Los Angeles who gave the trail publicity. Between 1915 and 1916, he drove the entire route, many times in the twin six-Packard he named Cactus Kate. The trail, which extends near here, was built in 1915 and completed the section between St. Thomas and Las Vegas. In its day, it denoted a milestone of progress. I love their arrowhead markers. That is quite a view down in there. This has got to be the precursor to the Grand Canyon, I think. This is just so fun. So what I did is I drove the car to the east entrance, because that's the terminus of the trail, and then I biked back to camp. So that was 7 miles. And then from camp, I hiked to the trailhead, and that was well over a mile. So this will be like an 8-mile hike. So 7 miles of biking and 8 miles of hiking today. And it's gorgeous. The fourth commandment is a very special one for me because it invites us to rest.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Starting the commandment out with remember rather than thou shalt is pretty significant. When the Israelites were in captivity, they had forgotten about the Sabbath. It's kind of hard to remember when you are slaves. So God was reminding them about it, and that it goes back to the very beginning of human history and is an inseparable part of the creation week. And so just like the Israelites had forgotten, people down through the centuries have forgotten about the Sabbath. But the passage clearly wants us to remember and to rest with the Creator God. Some people say that the Sabbath was first instituted at Mount Sinai and given only to the Israelites. But that is unfounded. The Sabbath was made for man, all man, and not man for the Sabbath. At least that's what Jesus says. In a personal sense, the Sabbath comes as a reminder that amid the pressing cares of life, we ought to remember God. Giving God 1 day in the week for special attention and devotion provides us with power and victory in conquering the other commandments. The Sabbath has been likened to a bridge over the troubled waters of this world, a link between heaven and earth. The Sabbath commandment also encourages us to rest from our labors. You can't imagine how wonderful that is, but even more than that, it is a time of connecting with God and doing good to others. The Sabbath points us back to a perfect world in the long ago and reminds us of the time when the Creator will once again make all things new. And Isaiah says that we will be keeping the Sabbath in heaven. It is also a reminder that God stands ready to restore within our hearts and lives His own image as it was in the beginning. If you enter into the spirit of true Sabbath observance, you will qualify for receiving the seal of God, which is the divine recognition that His character is reflected perfectly in your life. This was a pretty exposed hike today, but I still love it. Old car parts, old glass, old car parts. Anyway, we're not allowed to pick up anything, any trash, because it's too valuable, from the 30s. It is our happy privilege once each week to forget everything that reminds us about this world of sin and to remember those things that draw us closer to God. The Sabbath is a little sanctuary in the wilderness of this world where we can be free from its cares and enter into the joys of heaven. If the Sabbath rest was desirable for sinless beings in paradise, how much more essential it is for us erring mortals. You will notice that the commandment says, remember the seventh day, not a seventh day. So the command prohibits us from working on the seventh day because that is a rest day of the Lord. Can you imagine us working while God is resting? We would be silly to do that. I want to rest when God is resting. Only God can make things holy. So if He says that the seventh day is holy, then it is holy. Holy literally means set apart by God. And not only are people to rest, but the cattle is to rest too. That's how much God cares for His creatures. Pretty awesome. And even no stranger or foreigner was to work on the Sabbath. It is a day of rest for everyone. When God instituted the Sabbath at creation, it was to satisfy us spiritually. But when sin entered, it is also to serve as physical rest. Although serving others and caring for the sick is certainly lawful, as Jesus Himself healed on the Sabbath day. All right, it's time to cross the road. Okay, there's this sign, the terminus for the old Arrowhead Trail, 6.8 miles, but I am still not to my car. So this is probably a 9-mile day. But who's complaining? I certainly am not. I've loved every minute. Now, I am not oblivious to the fact that most Christians say that the Sabbath has been done away with. But I personally choose to believe that the blessings of the seventh-day Sabbath are still binding. I'm not going to argue with you, though, and believe me, I have heard every argument possible. But I still maintain that there is no biblical grounds for keeping Sunday as a day of worship in place of the Sabbath. You may choose to follow whatever course you want. That is between you and God. But you needn't comment and try and persuade me, because it's not gonna happen. I love the Sabbath too much, and I do think it's very, very important. Thanks for watching though. Oh, I see my car down there. It's still there. Yay.